BeakerBeat.
It's Monday, June 13th, 2011. In this week's BeakerBeat, Pfizer announces another $1 billion in cuts and a new global R&D plan. More on that, plus France and Germany agree on something, and it's not that the Maginot Line was a waste of time. And with Father's Day around the corner, a heartwarming story of a dad stealing pharma-related info from his daughter for personal gain. All that and more in this week's edition of BeakerBeat, brought to you by Allergan. To learn more about Allergan, visit their company webpage on Beaker.com.
Previously on BeakerBeat.
So Jeremy and I decided to celebrate by playing a round of golf.
Oh, my arm! It's broken!
And my ball's in there, and I don't want to go in there.
Oh, this is the biggest one ever.
A little foot wedge. Duh! Just made it worse. Get out of there!
I am Locutus of Borg.
Good morning.
Hello everyone, welcome to this week's edition of BeakerBeat. I'm Mike Justice, thanks for tuning in. Well, if you are a longtime viewer, you can tell that I'm wearing the exact same clothes as last week, because Jeremy and I are still on the golf course. It's exhausting. Anywho, here we are on the, what is this, Jeremy, 5th hole? Something like that? Maybe we'll finish by next week. Anyway, here's this week's top story. As you probably know, Pfizer has been cutting, but apparently it's not enough, so they're breaking out the scalpel again. The Wall Street Journal reports the drug maker is searching its operations for an additional $1 billion in annual savings. Most of that squeeze will come from the administrative side of the business, according to sources. The Wall Street Journal reports that management has been eyeing operations over the past several months, planning to start making cuts later this year. If focused on the admin side, the cuts would take almost 5% out of the budget for sales and administrative expenses, which came in at just under $20 billion last year. The company has already cut heavily from its sales operations, so the axe may now be aimed at management. Pfizer has been cutting costs for years now, but the 2009 mega merger with Wyeth put things in high gear. Thousands of employees have lost their jobs, R&D facilities and manufacturing plants are being closed, but more apparently is to come. In fact, the company has cut spending by $4.1 billion since 2000 and is in the process of cutting $6 billion more, according to Morningstar. Now, another way to save money is to partner with others to absorb R&D costs. To that end, Pfizer just announced a $100 million 5-year plan to establish a new Center for Therapeutic Innovation in the heart of Boston's growing biotech hub. Some 50 investigators will be brought in to work in teams with researchers at local universities and hospitals. Pfizer spent $9.4 billion last year on R&D, with far too little to show for it, so they've joined Sanofi, GSK, and others, shifting towards a new open ecosystem. The idea is corporate researchers will link up with outside groups like top research universities. And this is Pfizer's third such innovation center, following similar ventures in New York and San Francisco, and the pharma giant says it will duplicate this model around the world. All right, Jeremy, the key to this hole, as you can see, is don't hit the water. There's a little teeny island thing sticking out there. Let's see what we can do. Ready? And it's good to, oh, so close. Story of my life. Anyway, tell us what you think about this story or any story that you see in today's show. Very simple, click on the orange button below us, box will pop up, type in your comments, send it to me. I promise I'll read and respond to every one of them, including those that have golf tips, because clearly I'm terrible and all wet and out of balls. And when you're done watching BeakerBeat, check out Beaker's blog, where you can see interviews with 2 top life sciences company execs and hear their plans for the future. Those stories and more on Beaker's blog. We're in the home stretch here. Just need to avoid the sand. See how this goes. Whoa! Put that in your pipe and smoke it, Jeremy. It's going left. Quit it. Historically, France and Germany have rarely agreed to anything, except, of course, going to war. But last week, they both agreed to suspend sales of Takeda Pharma's top-selling drug, Actos. France announced it would block sales of the diabetes drug because of research suggesting an association between long-term use and bladder cancer, and Germany followed suit. The rest of Europe is waiting for the European Medicines Agency to finish their analysis of the data, which began back in March. And meanwhile, Japanese authorities say they have no plans to recall Actos. The drug accounted for 27% of Takeda's revenues, with global sales of nearly $5 billion. Water! Water! Jeremy, bring me my clubs. Bloomberg reports that Covidien wants to sell its pharma business. The medical device maker has hired J.P. Morgan Chase to handle the potential sale, which is expected to reach $4 billion. Venture capitalists in the medical device industry are asking the U.S. government to create a clearer regulatory pathway for medical technologies. The concern is more companies lately prefer going abroad to seek approval and market their products. Also, a medical device industry lobby launched a 6-point plan for protecting device makers. It calls for such things as increased funding for basic research, creating an innovation office at the White House, and scrapping the medical device tax. Pfizer has agreed to stop selling the poultry drug 3-nitro in the U.S. after an FDA study found that it increased levels of inorganic arsenic in chickens. The growth-promoting drug has been commonly used in poultry for decades, but environmentalists have long been worried about the drug because of the potential for chicken waste, when used as fertilizer, could cause arsenic to leach into water supplies. A bipartisan group of 5 U.S. senators want the Inspector General of HHS to conduct an inquiry into physician-owned distributorships, which serve as middlemen between hospitals and medical device firms. They want to know if they violate anti-kickback laws and other regulations. A Senate report says surgeons investing in pods can get a commission for the sale of devices to hospitals. A South Carolina judge ordered Johnson & Johnson to pay $327 million for mismarketing its antipsychotic drug Risperdal. The judgment against J&J's Ortho McNeil Janssen subsidiary stems from a letter to physicians promoting Risperdal as safer and better than rival drugs, as well as sample boxes with deceptive labels. The Janssen will pay $174.2 million in penalties for the letters, or $4,000 for each one sent to South Carolina doctors. Every letter was viewed as a single violation of the state's consumer protection laws. The remainder of the judgment, $152.8 million, was based on a fine of $300 for each of the 509,000 sample boxes distributed. Just over a week after UNICEF began publishing vaccine prices, many vaccine producers, including GSK and Merck, have announced they will cut their vaccine prices for developing countries. For example, Merck will cut its rotavirus price to $5 and then again to $3.50 once it has sold more than 30 million doses. Its Gardasil shot against HPV will be cut to $5 per dose. What did I just say, Jeremy? Avoid the sand. And here we are in the sand. How does a ball get wedged up in like that? This isn't even possible. Let's have at it anyway. And while I'm taking a swing, success! Here's today's final story. With Father's Day coming up, here's a tale that will make all of you appreciate your dad a heck of a lot more. The SEC charged a personal injury lawyer in California with insider trading, accusing him of stealing confidential information on Abbott Labs' $2.8 billion acquisition of Advanced Medical Optics from his own daughter. The agency accused Dean Getz of making $11,000 profit trading on AMO stock just before the deal went public in January 2009. His daughter was a lawyer working for AMO on the deal, and during a visit for the winter holidays at her parents' house, he allegedly stole the info. Then he bought 900 shares of AMO stock on January 8, 2009. His daughter has not been charged. Getz agreed to settle the case by paying about $47,000 in penalties and fines. No word on what his daughter will get him for this Father's Day, but I would recommend handcuffs and some prison-issued jammies. So happy Father's Day, everyone. Chances are your dad isn't this bad. This is for my first par of the day, and seeing as how it's the last hole, I can't possibly screw this up. Oh, you didn't see that. Give me another ball. Doing a tin cup here. Oh, give me another ball. It's like tin cup. Oh, yes! That's it for this week's edition of BeakerBeat. I'm Mike Justice. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. And hopefully in a different shirt. Give me another ball. Ow! Jeremy! Sit, Beaker. Sit. Good dog. I'm gonna do a little hockey action. What do you think, Jeremy? Can you make it? 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 Oh, it was going in.